honest kids. This is another example of where black and white has been used to frame and highlight color and make a promise about intensity and purity. The black band with the white background is communicating an honesty, straightforward integrity. The use of the really intense, vibrant colors is a wonderful contrast to that implies a purity. Prilosec. If you were to go down the aisle of heartburn remedies, say 5 years ago, you would see a lot of blue, you'd see a lot of pastels, a lot of soft color, a lot of soothing color. And that's a good example of kind of the intrinsic meaning of color, but the entire shelf is just awash with blues and soft, soothing colors. Prilosec has done a wonderful job of imbuing meaning to a color. Now, if your brand promise is about, let's just say, life on the other side or freedom, purple is a color that is very vibrant, very exciting. It's about life free from heartburn. And that's wonderful, but what Prilosec has done in staking a claim to the purple and using it overtly, consistently, much like UPS has done, they own purple. And purple means effective heartburn relief. And this is, I think it's close to $1 billion brand now, and it has not been on shelf OTC all that long. One of the things that I gauge as a gauge of success is if other people are out there trying to mimic or copy. Purple is starting to appear in a lot of OTC. You go down the healthcare aisle and there's purple here, there's purple there, it's a bit of a smattering. And you would say, well, why in the world would that purple be there? It's not because it has an intrinsic meaning, it's because Prilosec has imbued it with a meaning. And now others are trying to borrow on the strategic meaning that Prilosec has put to purple. Izzy. The vibrancy, the intensity of these colors is all about being fresh picked. Very simple, very straightforward. You know what the promise is simply because of the use of color. Of course, it's paired with very straightforward, simple, impactful graphics, but it's a nice, pure example of how you can use an intense color to deliver on a promise. The last example that I wanted to share with you is brand identity for clear. And if you travel as much as I do, you spend as much time in airports as I have, you probably have seen this. This is a pre-approval or a security system for frequent travelers. You're pre-approved and you can then bypass all of the security lines. So what does that mean emotionally? Well, that's about freedom. That's about unlimited possibility. That's about blue sky. And so this firm has used the metaphor of the blue sky, and they've taken that blue and they've owned it. Interestingly, the only other color that is used in this execution is either white or clear. And that reinforces the ownership of the blue as a color. And my lovely assistant has just handed me the results from the poll. And we see here that 75% are saying that they think that they're using color pretty well. Only 3% are saying that they use it very well. There's a huge opportunity there. And I think when you step back and you think about how you use color, and again, go back to some of the original points I made about the tactics of color and the strategy of color. I think sometimes people get mixed up between the two. I think people use color effectively with their brands as a banner or a beacon, but they don't often think about the strategy and how you can leverage that. Here's a quote that we love from one of our friends, Martin Lindstrom, from his book Brand Sense. And coming out of his global research, he has discovered that of all the senses, sight, is by far the most seductive. And I think that is absolutely critical when you posit that color can be your strategy. So we talked a little bit here. I'd love to talk in more depth about how you can develop a strategy around a color. But you spend a lot of time defining what the color means and how it works and how you connect that with the essence and meaning of your brand. But it's absolutely meaningless if you don't manage the intent of that strategy, the intent of the color, and the integrity of that color. All of that investment, all of that thinking, all of that strategy can go down the tubes if you don't pay attention to this. So I'm going to turn it over to Michelle, and she's going to pick it up here and talk about how you can manage your intent and integrity in color.